Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Big matches still going down around the world. PaperX getting to the grand finals. We'll discuss that over the coming minutes. But also, what about Shanks' perspective on this new 100 Thieves team? Over the last couple of years, lots of discussions over salaries, who's getting paid the most, who is not getting paid all that much at all. He reckons that 100T, based on various things behind the scenes of that organisation, have taken massive pay cuts as players. Their salaries in the bin compared to other players in North America. What does that mean for the success of that roster for the upcoming season? Very much into your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, just a quick reminder. There are rumours, well actually Riot have said this, they will be nerfing Neon. We think that's going to be happening basically in a week and a half. So we'll see what they do. I'd imagine in a couple of days we're probably going to get rumours as to what they're going to change with Neon, if anything. They presumably will nerf it to some degree. But of course the timing is critical. Better to nerf it now than to nerf it mid-January as the season starts. So I think it'll be an adaptation period. Into your perspective on what they should do in the comments below. Shout out Yosemite as well. He's joined FPX Esports. Excited to see his future. Former Billy Gaming man, of course. It's funny because like he's been playing with FPX for some time, and I think they even confirmed this, but I guess he didn't tweet about it until now. So yeah, congrats, I guess. Even though this is like, he's been playing matches with them since like the start of November, so nothing really different going on there. But we do have this. So this is the stage for the VALORANT Asia Invitational in Chengdu. I thought this is pretty fire. This, of course, was yesterday's losers bracket game between Trace Esports and PaperX. So, two very exciting teams on their day. Of course, we've discussed a lot lately about PaperX, whether they will be able to replicate the performance that they would be expected to deliver. But, yeah, I thought this is a sick venue to see for the rest of the tournament. Now, we're going to discuss the grand finals and how that's getting on here in a couple of minutes. But there's lots to say on PaperX today, because yesterday they played this Trace Esports series, and they decided to just run a normal composition. And I don't know why they've messed around. I mean, I do know why. And PaperX are always going to be a volatile team. Old habits are always going to die hard. But it seems like Alex and the team over there said, you know what? Let's just play a normal comp for once. Let's just see how it goes if we just don't do anything crazy. And here we have them deploying a drone. Can you believe it? To actually get some information. You had Jing running the Killjoy. Like, what's going on? You had the boys checking corners. I mean, it was unbelievable scenes out of PaperX. They were coming into the sites, checking corners, clearing space, getting the job done. Absolutely unbelievable scenes from PaperX here. And yeah, Trace Esports really had no answer. And this is a PaperX team that will typically go, you know, map 5, right? Everything goes all the way down to the wire. But no, against Trace Esports yesterday, they just slammed them, and they slammed them with a normal composition. So, yeah, confusing why PaperX are so, like, bipolar, I guess, at times. Sometimes they look like, you know, it was a clown show the other day, and then all of a sudden they're looking incredibly good again. So, yeah, a 3-0 dub. Easy does it, and they made it to the finals with a 13-5, 13-4 on the Ascent, and we'll discuss that in a couple of minutes again, and then a 13-11. It was very close on the Sunset. They eventually got over the line with, yeah, Forsaken on the Neon doing the job. But again, I mean, okay, they pulled out a deadlock on the Jing final map, but it still worked out kind of well. Nothing insane here. You know, no Rainers coming into play, for example, which, you know, maybe is a welcome change, and then something absolutely killing it on the Jet. But whatever does happen in the grand finals, we'll discuss in a second. You've got to say fair play to DFM, because at the off-season so far, they were 1-2 at the Rebel Homeguards qualifiers, and at the Radiant Asia Invitational, they're currently 4-0 in their run. So they've been 5-2 in their off-season, and over the last 2 years of franchising, they have won a grand total of 2 series. So yeah, honestly, insane scenes. DFM looking at more and more competitive by the day, and we'll discuss the finals here in just a couple of seconds. This I thought was kind of cool as well. So Boaster, he's out there again in Tokyo on December the 8th. He's going to be there for a bit of a meet and greet. So he's big in Japan, as is VALORANT right now, and for good reason with the DFM stuff. This, by the way, a show match before the grand finals. Here's Forsaken. Thought it was kind of cool to see, you know, Simple here playing the show match. He played the show match, and then the grand finals have just got underway. Just before we get there, quick update on what's been happening in the Americas Stage 3 Challenger side. Stella's team, they 2-1 SAD, they 2-1 Blue Otter, and they've advanced again. Stella's is up 2-odd for this. Wow, this is too stressful. But yeah, the Rankers, they're in the grand finals. The Baby J redemption arc continues. series, and this again was not especially close. It was against Hyen's team, NBG, and yeah, look, Baby J didn't drop 40 this series, but nonetheless, on the Cypher, he's been cooking as ever. So, yeah, Inspire, Pop In, and the boys. Bind was 39 on the Rankers pick with a massive second side, and then the Sunset, they just played, you know, their map pick, and they closed it out pretty impressively. Pop In 27 and 10 on the Sova. So, yeah, mega result there for the Rankers. They're in the grand finals. But the other important result was YFP. They went down 2-1 to the Rankers the other day. They 2-1 Sad, they 2-1 to Blue Otter, and now they've made it all the way to pretty much on the line of making it through. This is the team that we expected to make it deep by Jake Thief, Stella, Physic, and Penny. They're pretty damn good on paper. But if you'd have told me a couple of weeks ago that it was going to be 2 of these 3 teams in the grand final, I'd have said you were pretty mental. But yeah, it turns out nothing of the sort. Let me hit the refresh and see how this is getting on. So the grand finals is currently underway here in Chengdu. It's DFM versus PaperX. PaperX are the big favourites for the series, of course. I mean, look, they should be on paper anyway. But yeah, we've definitely seen that over the last couple of days that PaperX have stepped up their level. Yes, DFM, they've won a map, but as it stands, it's looking pretty damn good for PaperX. It's 0-0. They've just started the pistol here on the Pearl. Is that going to be their chance to close out the series? It's interesting, right? Because, well, Pearl's back in the map pool now, and PaperX do tend to try and play a lot of it, even if their success necessarily isn't always there. But, yeah, they won the Ascent again, and this was especially impressive, really. It was interesting because their defensive side was a shambles, and it's funny, like, what's going on in the Pacific, right? Because usually you'd think, wow, Ascent super defensive sided, but no, PaperX were pretty lost on their defensive side. They only won 3 rounds. Like, it was kind of a classic over-peaking, taking fights you didn't need to take, and then they decided with, again, a meta comp. I mean, Sova, Jet, KO, Killjoy, and the Omen, you know, very standard stuff. They dominated the attacking side and won the game 13-10. Fair play to DFM though, they bounced back on the Haven, they dominated the attacking side again. So this is the thing for PaperX that will probably always remain an issue. Even if they're running more standard compositions, their attacking side you'd expect to be very strong. Their defensive side, that's where the weakness potentially could still be. And on the Abyss, they did it again. I mean, 10-2 on the attack, and that time they closed it out on the defense as well. Mindfreak went 19-3. So, yeah, obviously right now these teams are still learning. They're playing the new maps in the pool. It's understandable why there's going to be some questions on who's going to be at the top of their game. But, yeah, DFM just won the pistol, and, well, I guess we can just watch the rest of this to see if Forsaken, after getting a couple of kills there with the Classic, is going to be able to do anything more against, well, on this eco buy effectively. Well, they're just going to walk into the site anyway, and it's probably going to work out for DFM. So it's looking like a 2-0 early advantage here on the, obviously, the Pearl. Something's walking into the site as well. Wow, he's pulled out the Marshal, but it's a 1v3. That's probably going to be round over. So we'll go on to this 100 Thieves stuff. Of course, the other day, they got slapped around by Trustin Plug in the, you know, for those who dare tournament. And their results in recent months have, of course, not been great either. They closed out the season with a loss to Crew, with a loss to G2, a loss to Loud shortly before that. But they decided pretty much to retain their team. They lost Bang, though, to Sentinels. They brought in Xander instead. The rest of the team is the same. But I wanted to share what Shanks had to say, because there's been a lot of talk about it, certainly in every region, about the salaries. We know that Aspas was going to be getting paid $1 million. I mean, I'm just making these up, but whatever, on Bleed. And where they were getting that money from, well, it was non-existent, of course, as we now know. He's now gone to MIBR. But we know that in, you know, EMEA, the salaries are generally far lower than in the Americas, and we've seen that over the last few years. Times, though, maybe are changing. 100T are one of the organizations that they actually do look after their balance sheet. They do look at the bottom line, and they do decide, okay, we simply can't afford that. And maybe according to Shanks or some others, the fact that they've spent big money on their Call of Duty team, which I also follow closely on another channel for the upcoming season, that, you know, they've basically formed a great roster, the best they could have done on paper with the players that were available in COD, and they've paid big buyouts and big salaries to make that happen, and for a facility. So they don't have all the money in the world, and maybe for 100T, the players on VALORANT, they've said, look guys, we cannot fund you to the same salaries you were getting before. Apparently we're cutting them in half.
Chat, Sentinels are not going to pick me up. Like, I'm going to keep it 100. Like, they have 10s and Tarek. Other than Sentinels, who are the richest orgs in North America? 100 Thieves? Should I leak what I heard about 100 Thieves, chat? Bro, I heard those players are getting paid like they used to get paid a lot. You know what I mean? But like this year, brother, 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 brother. They've I'm pretty sure all of their salaries have got cut in half. Like everyone on that team. 100 Thieves committed too much to Call of Duty this year for real? What, did they spend like unlimited? Is their Call of Duty team fire or no? I'm gonna look at the results in 20 seconds after me posing. Okay, next pose. Next pose.
So I imagine they're still getting paid okay salaries, but yeah, over the last few years it's been pretty insane. I mean, we've heard numbers in like 20, 30k a month for certain players. That's simply not sustainable. The teams don't generate those kind of revenues, right? So it's understandable they're having to drop the players down, probably to something that is far more reasonable, I would say. But nonetheless, if 100T are getting their salary docked and other teams aren't, that's maybe not going to make them so happy. But then again, they might stream more, or they might want to win more, so they can actually win some of that money back in prize money. That might be the argument as well. It could be good at the end of the day. But it's still interesting that 100T struggling for money. They're dropping the salaries down. Can't imagine the players are especially pleased about it, especially those that joined relatively recently. But that is how it is in esports at the moment. And I think 100T are doing a sensible thing to ensure that their organization can survive over the coming years. Because if you don't do that, you run yourself at serious risk. Of course, Sentinels, big organization, but they have a lot of burn, right? They spend a lot of money on their players and on other things and people as well. And, they're trying to find a way to make a profit. 100T, they're closer to that situation, but you've got to be careful with your spending, certainly in esports, as it is right now. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.